God.
He's a faithful God.
Yeah.
I have a question. Over time of disbelief, so how does that affect our relationship with God when there is disbelief?
Okay. You know, like any other relationship, huwa wanasema it's all about communication, you know. But sometimes communication is not what we think it is. Do any of you have a friend ambaye mnaweza mkakaa labda mwaka mjaongea, lakini when you get to talk it feels like you talked yesterday? Like the friendship is there whether you talk or you don't. So here's how I see it. We think we are communicating with God because we are praying every day. Because every chance we get to pray, we do it. So we have the assumption kwamba my relationship with God is good. But that is not how it is. Because inakuja kuji-reveal when we are in a position ambayo sasa tunatakiwa tu kama hivyo sometimes to muamini without even saying anything, you know. That's when you realize kwamba you've actually not been talking to God. You have been sending him text. You know. Ambazo he doesn't reply because he doesn't read text. So what happens when we are in a very long time relationship ambayo ina involve a lot of disbelief? Exactly, that could be the best example. Like you post kwenye status and you're like,
nah, things we do.
You know, and unajua most of the time hata tu kwenye normal life mtu akiweka status WhatsApp labda most of the time kuna watu wako targeted na ile status, so atakuja ataangalia who viewed it, did the target hit, you know. Shida yetu ni kwamba when tukishamaliza kuiweka we don't go back and check kama Mungu ameiona, so we think he saw it but he didn't. Now that relationship ambayo tunafikiri kwamba iko very strong inakuwa tested every time ambayo tunatakiwa tumuamini, every time ambayo tunatakiwa to accept his will, you know, instead of our will. So we are not communicating with God, and therefore we do not know his voice. We do not know him well. Kwa hivyo we get troubled when we don't see things. You see, like we want to walk by sight, not by faith. Kwa sababu the faith we think we have is based on what we can see. Kwa hivyo tunamwambia Mungu, I need to see something. I need to see something happening. You know, like okay, Abraham alipewa ahadi ya kwamba kizazi chako kitakuwa kikubwa kama mchanga wa bahari. Something you can't count, si ndio? And he's there, he's getting old, no kid. How do you hold on to such promise? Wakati yani huyo mtoto tu mwenyewe ambaye anatakiwa kuendeleza kizazi chako hayupo. How do you believe kwamba it's a valid promise? You can only believe if you know who is promising you. Yani leo wewe ukimwambia mtoto wako tutakula chips mchana, hivi unafikiri ana doubt? Kwa sababu she or he is sure kwamba wewe you can afford chips. Yani it's easy. Si ndio? We get into trouble because we are not sure of who we are talking to, you know, or who we are listening to. So after a very long time ya doubt, then we fall back. Kwa sababu it's tiresome. Every time umeenda dukani unataka kununua simu, like you want to choose between an iPhone and a Samsung, si ndio? You're not sure which one you should choose. So you want a sign, like go show me a sign, how do I select, si ndio? And then unaenda kununua nguo, it's the same thing, unaenda kufanya. Now tuitoe kwa Mungu. You have a friend ama you have a spouse ambaye every time you want to make a choice, that person needs to assist you, sio? So I'm here, nataka ninunue simu, which one should I take? Yeye ndo atakwambia take iPhone or take Samsung. So you're good, you go. Nguo the same, viatu the same. Now imagine every time that person tells you to maybe take a Samsung, you take an iPhone. Take a white dress, you take a black one. So you take this kind of shoes, you take the other one. Why? Because kumbe wakati unampigia yeye, kuna mtu mwingine pia unampigia. Kwa hivyo yeye anafikiri kwamba anayo nafasi ya kusaidia kufanya maamuzi kwenye maisha yako. Kumbe kuna mtu mwingine pia ambaye ana almost the same chance. Na sisi without knowing, we always fall to the side ambayo it gives us pleasure most of the time. Kwa hivyo the devil is smart. So wakati wewe una struggle kumsikia Mungu na kufanya anachokuambia, yeye anakupa kile ambacho una desire, you know, because the devil plays with our desires. So anakuwekea tu pale, and it makes it so easy. Ndio maana Yesu alisema njia iendayo motoni ni nzuri, ni nyepesi, nini, and hii nyingine ni changamoto. So that's how it always happens. Kwa hiyo baada ya muda, you know, like you'll be like, he doesn't have a great taste, you know, like every choices he makes for me, sometimes they're boring. See, you go to the funny guy or the funny one, au ambaye sasa he gives you the fantasies, you know, you fall to that. Now, because he makes it so easy for you to go through that road, unakuwa hata ile zile doubts unajua zinaondoka. Only not realizing kwamba umebadilisha upande. Yani ulikuwa Simba umehamia Yanga, ulikuwa Yanga umehamia Simba. Completely. You're not unajua ni bora hata wakati ule ambao una struggle between two things. Kwa sababu you can actually you notice kwamba I'm struggling, and if I'm struggling, what am I supposed to do ili nisiwe na struggle? Ndo vitu kama hivi vina come into hand kwamba kumbe I need to go back to the word, I need to go back to God, I need to, you know. But when you fall into the other side, maisha yako yatakuwa very smooth, kwa sababu it has to be smooth ili wewe usahau upande mwingine. Not knowing kwamba the choices you're making now, the life you're leading now is not the life that was meant for you. It's the one that you fell into because you couldn't go to the one that you were meant for. And back to my first point, your communication. We cannot communicate with God if we do not make that intentional choice ya kwamba we want to communicate to him or with him, you know. It has to be a conversation.
It has to be a dialogue and not a monologue.
Thank you. Status ni monologue. Yani ni mpaka mtu awe interested aje kureply. Text messages ni monologue. Mpaka mtu aisome awe interested aje reply. There is no guarantee someone is going to reply to that. But a phone call, at least someone can say, hello, who is this? We need that. Like, we need to go to God, talk to him, and listen. Because we usually talk to God and leave him with whatever we told him. Aamue mwenye nini cha kufanya. You know, ingekuwa tuna dialogue na Mungu, tungezoea. Tungejua, unajua ile what will Jesus do or what would God do kwenye hii situation. It becomes automatic. Kwamba angekuwa ni Mungu kwenye situation, asingefanya hivi. Ama God, what do you have to say about this? Now utakachokisikia, you are sure it's him and you move. You see? Most of the time we are still struggling between sauti ya huku na sauti ya huku. And in the end, as you've asked, we fall to the other voice, and the other voice is good and it's pleasurable. We live there.